right? So whenever we get some job support, and one more thing. So, this is 5,000 or 10,000 per script, but, there will be some US guys like, I'll show you. So there'll be some US guys and who will be looking for job support, and they will pay $1,000 per month. $1,000 per month, right? So it comes to up to 83K per month. 83K per month, taxless income. Got it, guys? So if you get some US job support, right, you can make this much of money for just one job support. And if you get 2 or 3, like, you can just imagine. So you can make amount in lakhs. So like you'll get freelancing works, and this is the minimum cost. This is the minimum cost for job support for US guys. Getting what I'm saying, guys? For US or UK guys, we will charge, like minimum cost is $1,000 per month. Got it? All right. So this is one of the earn value learn that we are providing. This is one of the earn value learn programs that we are providing. Another one is, we are providing one more earn value learn program for only classroom participants. Okay, that is not for online guys. That is only for classroom participants. Let me go to the batch tracker. Yeah. So as yesterday we discussed what are the reasons for doing PT for an existing application. PT means performance testing, guys, right? So hereafter we will be I will be using the term PT for performance testing. Okay. So yesterday we discussed what are the reasons for doing performance testing for an existing application, for an already existing application, isn't it? So what are the reasons for doing testing for existing application? Those who joined yesterday, Tejaswini. What are the scenarios in which we do performance testing for an existing application? Tejaswini, are you with us, Tejaswini? Okay, Sirisha. Okay, Akila. Guys, like I had given multiple examples. I explained along with examples, isn't it? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
I had explained this with examples yesterday, right? I'm asking the same thing. So what are the reasons or what are the scenarios in which we do performance testing for a already existing application, for already existing applications? So what are the scenarios that I explained yesterday?
Explain for a bank app, banking app that this Karur Vysya bank closed. It is been moved to Indian Bank or Union Bank. That how they'll manage the 1 lakh customers from that bank to this one.
When new users are added, that's the example.
That new users are able
give
to
these
add.
examples. You should tell you should tell these scenarios. I'm asking the scenarios. What scenarios? In what scenarios we need to do performance testing for an existing application? So whenever a new feature or functionality is added, whenever there are increasing number of users are adding new users, whenever there is a major software upgrade like database or OS migration, whenever there is a hardware upgrade, right? Whenever some performance issues are identified and fixed, or performance testing is also done as an ongoing or regular activity in each sprint, right? So you need to explain, need not be in the same order, but you need to explain these scenarios, or you need to list out those scenarios in which we do performance testing for an existing application. Clear, guys? Are you able to follow or no? Are you able to understand, assimilate or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now let us discuss what are the scenarios in which we do performance testing for a newly developed application. Suppose there is a newly developed application. So it doesn't have any new feature, or, say it is a brand new application. Assume that there is a brand new application. Now, why should we do performance testing for a brand new application? what are the reasons for doing, or what are the factors for doing performance testing for a brand new application. So we'll discuss that today, right? So first and foremost one is assess readiness of production environment. Assess readiness of production environment means how much the application is ready to be deployed into production. How ready is it for to go live, right? How ready the application is to go live, and determine the user load capacity of the existing applications. That means how many users can it support, right? There is a brand new application. We don't know how many users it will support. So we can do performance testing and determine that. We can determine the user load capacity, right? So this is one scenario where we do performance testing for a newly developed application. And then next one is compare performance characteristics with different system configurations. Means different system, different software settings. Okay, system configuration means nothing but software settings and hardware configurations. Got it? So if you want to determine, how does the application behave with different settings, right? Different software configurations, and then support the application tuning. Suppose, you want to identify, like you want to get optimum performance from the application, right? How can we get that optimum performance? Okay. How can we get that optimum performance? To determine that also we do performance testing, and to validate any application against its performance criteria. To validate any application against its performance criteria. What does that mean? What does that mean by performance criteria? So any application will have certain performance criteria. Okay. Or else for that matter, any device will have some performance criteria. Right. So let me go to your class notes, and anyone having a Enfield bike, or what we call that, there are some other sports bike, right? What are those guys? Sorry, I couldn't recollect the names. Can you list out some sports bikes? Yeah. So what is meant by performance criteria? So every application will have some performance criteria. First, I will explain for software applications. Software applications. So performance criteria of software applications folder. And then we will discuss that bikes example. So what is the performance criteria of software applications? So it will have each application will have different performance criteria. For example, response time should be less than 3 seconds or less than 5 seconds. Okay, this is one performance criteria. Our application should be able that application should be able to process, let's say, should be able to process 1000 transactions per second. 1000 transactions per second. This is one of the performance criteria. Okay. So, and another performance criteria is, it should have 99% passed transactions. Any application, like some application will have performance criteria like this. 99% of the transactions should pass. They should not be more than 1% error rate. Error rate should not be more than, should not be more than 1%. So these are some performance criteria for software applications. Okay. So just like, suppose, you have a sports bike, it will have some certain performance criteria. So what is that? They will reach 100 kilometers per hour in, let's say, 3 seconds. That is one performance criteria for sports bike. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? We can go to that speed in just 3 seconds. Like the pickup will be that much good, right? So we can reach, using those sports bike, that we can reach 100 kilometers per hour speed in 3 seconds or 5 seconds. I don't know. I did not ride any sports bike, right? But there will be certain performance criteria. That is why people, spend 3 lakhs for a bike, isn't it? For those Enfield and Harley Davidson and all those, isn't it? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Right? Or also, they can carry 500 kgs. Some bikes, like all those bikes, that 350cc bikes and all will carry 500 kgs or more load also, isn't it? Comfortably. Yes or no? So these are the performance criteria for those sports bikes, isn't it? So similarly, software applications will also have some certain performance criteria. Yes, I know I'm giving these examples so that you will remember easily, right? To make you remember easily. Performance criteria for sports bikes. You should remember this one. This is important. Okay, not this one. Okay, these are important. What is meant by performance criteria of a application? Suppose if they ask you tomorrow in the interview, they ask you what is the performance criteria for your application. So you should tell these kind of numbers or these kind of examples. Got it? Clear, guys? Now, if you want to validate or if you want to test whether the performance criteria is met or not, obviously we have to do some performance testing, isn't it? Suppose you want to verify whether the response times are less than 5 seconds or not. You need to do performance testing to determine that, to validate the application against its performance criteria, right? And who will define that? Your client will provide the performance criteria. They will provide it, in the requirement gathering phase. You will get that information from the client. Okay, and you need to validate the application against the performance criteria. And next one is creating benchmark for future systems. So suppose there is a brand new application and now they developed some new application in the last 6 months and it is a brand new application. Now that is not the end of the story, right? So some new features will be added every sprint or every month. Every month or every sprint, some or other new features will be added. So those are called as feature systems. Now, suppose, after adding some new feature, we want to check whether, there is any improvement in the performance or not. Suppose there is some hardware upgrade or software upgrade tomorrow after some time, right? So if you want to determine if there is any performance improvement or not, we need to measure the initial performance, right? We need to measure the initial performance, right? By the way, what is a benchmark? What is benchmark? Okay. What is meant by benchmark? Or, this is one of the important interview questions. What is benchmark testing and what is baseline testing? Or what is the difference between benchmark testing and baseline testing? One of the important interview questions for performance testing. Okay, so for that, first let us understand what is meant by benchmark. Benchmark means initial performance of an application. That is called as benchmark. Initial performance of an application is called as a benchmark. Okay, so for example, I'll give some example, some real world example. So everyone knows Rajamouli, right? Telugu director Rajamouli. Everyone knows that. Whole pan India knows that. I know that. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what is the benchmark that was set by him? With his movies, like he had set a benchmark of, yes, 100 crores club, guys, 100 crores collection, isn't it? This is the benchmark set by Rajamouli, isn't it? He has set a new benchmark in the film industry. Which one? What is that? 100 crores collection. And now, once he had set that benchmark, so everyone, everyone tried to reach that benchmark. And what is the benchmark that he did? This 100 crores was collected in 3 days, I think, if I remember it correctly, right? So now thereafter, once he has set an initial, benchmark, everyone started, like comparing that our film reached 100 crores club in these many days, etc. Every other, movie or every other production team tried to achieve this benchmark, isn't it? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Right. So benchmark means initial performance or initial record. Okay. So that is called as benchmark, and baseline we'll discuss it later. What is baseline testing? We'll discuss that later. So we want to, like for a brand new application, we want to create a benchmark for feature systems. Means we'll test the application with very less features, that new application. And so that tomorrow, after adding some new features after making some changes to the application, obviously client will be interested to know whether there is any improvement in the performance or not. But if you want to determine there is an improvement, there should be some benchmark to compare, right? There should be some value to compare, isn't it? Yes or no? Suppose, there is a brand new application and suppose today, homepage login step is taking 3 seconds for a brand new application. Okay. Now, after 1 month or after 2 months, there are some major changes to the application, and this login went up to 4 seconds. Okay. Now we can, only when we do the measure the initial performance, then only we can say that the performance has degraded, isn't it? Otherwise, how can we say that the performance has degraded? We cannot say that, right? Yes or no, guys? Right. Or else suppose, after 2 months, after making some changes to the application, response time login is taking 2 seconds. Now we can say that there is some improvement only when we measure the initial performance, isn't it? Right. So this is called as benchmark, or this is called as, benchmark for creating benchmark for feature systems. Creating benchmark for feature systems. Is it clear, guys? I'll take a pause here. Any queries?
No.
Okay. And now next scenario is compare the application performance on multiple platforms, right? So most of the applications will be running on Linux operating system. So that's why I mentioned here all the Linux flavors of Linux. Most of the web applications will be running on Linux operating system. Almost 60%, 65%, I think. 65% of the applications are running on Linux operating system. Whether you take Big Basket or you take Amazon.in or Flipkart or IRCTC, all these applications will be running on Linux platforms. Okay. So, and let me show you that. So server operating system. Okay. Server operating system market share. So you can see that Linux will be having 65% of the market share. Sorry, 43%. Sorry, guys. 43% of the market share is occupied by Linux, and then 28% are Windows. All right. So now, suppose if client want to see there is a brand new application, and client want to determine on which platform we get better performance, on which operating system we get better performance. Then also we do performance testing. We deploy that application on different platforms, and we do performance testing on different platforms. Then only we can determine like which platform or which operating system gives better performance, whether Linux, whether we get better performance on Windows or Linux or Mac OS. If you want to determine that, that is another reason for doing performance testing for a brand new application. Is it clear, guys? And these are different flavors of Linux. Red Hat RHEL stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. This is most of the Linux servers use this OS. And then comes CentOS again. So, and then Fedora, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu Linux, and all this, right? So Red Hat Enterprise Linux is most popular of all the Linux flavors. Let me show you. I have, separate PPT on Linux operating systems. Okay. So let me show you all the different flavors of Linux. Any queries, guys? See, these are the different flavors of Linux. You have Ubuntu Linux, SUSE Linux, Novel Linux, AX, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. This is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Debian Linux, Fedora Linux. Okay. Now, any queries? Do we need to? You didn't get any query now on this discussion after having this discussion? No one got this question. Do we need to learn Linux?
I was about to ask actually, is this some basic Linux things has to be needed for the schools?
Yes. So it is an added advantage, basically, not mandatory, but it would be an added advantage if you have some basic Linux knowledge. Okay. So for that, I'll give you some source for that. So you need to learn just some basic commands, basic Linux commands, if you are interested. Okay, not mandatory, but like you can expect good package, and your chances of getting selection will be higher if you have some basic Linux knowledge and basic SQL knowledge. Okay. And I will give you some source for that. I'll give you, like you need not join any separate training for that. Can you please go to this website, webminal.org? Everyone, please go to this website, webminal.org. You need not have Linux operating system installed on your machine also. Okay, to learn Linux commands. Wonderful, right? To learn Linux commands, you need not have a Linux box, or you need not have a Linux laptop or a desktop. Okay. Just go to webminal.org website. Are you on this website, everyone? Guys, whether you continue the training or not, go to that website, guys. I'm not seeing, response from most of the participants. I'm here seeing, hearing response from only 1 or 2 guys in the batch. Okay. So, which is not good. Once you are on this website, click on register and enter some username that you can remember. Choose some username, give your name here. Okay. And enter your email ID, choose some password, enter some password and click on register and give some valid email ID here. Okay. Please give some valid email ID because an activation link will be sent to the registered email for verification. Okay. You'll get an activation email for activating this account. Once you activate the account, then only you will be able to log in. Can you please do that? One of you, can you please share your screen? Any one of you? This will be uploaded. This will be uploaded as private video, not public video. So nothing to worry. Guys, are you doing that?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
Recording, yes. Your username Priyanka. Okay. Yeah. And this will not be uploaded as public video. Okay. So this will be uploaded as private video and you only will get, only this batch participants will get this video. Right. So nothing to worry over here. Yeah. Click on register. And I'll tell you what is the value of this, like passwords can contain only alphanumeric. Don't use special characters. It should be only alphanumeric. Maybe you used some special characters. That's why, it is throwing an error. Others also, please do that, guys. Whether you
Sir,
practice or not, do that. Create an account. There is nothing, it's free account. It doesn't cost you anything. So whether you practice or not, create an account. Yeah, click on register now. Still, is it showing the same error? Click on register. Yes. This username has been already taken. Okay. So change that username. So that username was already used, it seems. 1218. Perfect. That should
sir,
be. Yes.
one quick- I have created the account on this web, but when I put the password, it is not taking, like it shows me an error.
That is what password should be alphanumeric. It should contain only alphabets and numbers. You should not have any special characters.
Yes, sir, I have done that. Like I registered successfully, but on the terminal, it is not letting me add anything.
Okay, we'll come to you. So Priyanka, now go to your Gmail and activate that. Click on the confirmation link. You should have received an email now. So you need to activate your account by going to your Gmail. There it is open, right? Just refresh your inbox. Yes. Now click on that link to verify your account. And once you are done with that, now you can log in by entering your username and password. Yes, account has been, see, it is displaying that your account has been verified, isn't it, on the top, right? Your account has been verified. Yeah. Now, once you log in, right? Once you log into your account, click on that terminal. So on the top, it is displaying that you have been logged in, isn't it? Now click on the terminal next to profile. Yes. Click on the terminal. And now you need to enter your username and password again here.
Same error, sir.
What is that? Login incorrect.
Yes.
Now see if caps lock is on.
No, sir, it's off only.
Oh, okay.
I'll try it once again.
Yeah, please try it one more time. Maybe some application issue then. So it will not show the password actually. When you type, right, it doesn't show anything, but it will take your input.
Yeah, now it's.
I have logged. I got.
Yeah, now you are able to log in, right? If you see the dollar prompt, that means you are able to log into the terminal, right? Now, I'll give you some sample Linux commands, popular Linux commands. Type who am I without any spaces. No, without spaces. Yes. Right. Enter. Hit enter. Now it shows your username. That is nothing but your username, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. If you type date over there, just type date. Date.
Okay.
It will show you the current date and time, isn't it? Right. And suppose if you type PWD is for present working directory. PWD.
D.
Right. PWD is the short form of present working directory. So you are in this folder now. On Linux terminal, you are in this root folder. Home followed by your username, right? So these are some basic Linux commands. Okay. 1 second. Right. And now, if you want to learn some more basic commands, right? Recording is in progress, right? So on the right side, you see on the right side, you have some lessons over there, available lessons, honey. There is a drop down there. In the middle, below that.
I can't see this. Okay.
So here it is. Let me highlight. See, here it is.
Okay.
Available lessons. And there is a drop down next to that, right? Click on the drop down. So you have, around 20 lessons over here. So all 20 are not required. Good thing is, you don't need all the 20 lessons, but, just first 5 to 10 are enough. Go choose lesson 1.
Okay.
If you go to lesson 1, see there some sample Linux commands are there, like PWD and mkdir. Mkdir is for creating a directory. Okay, mkdir -v dir1. That means, a directory will be created with this name dir1. Okay, and in the same way, if you want to create some more directories, repeat the same command. If you want to create 3 directories, 3 folders at once, you can use this command. So you have some lessons over there, and you can practice those lessons on this terminal, on the left side terminal that you are seeing.
Yes.
Got it? So you don't need to join any other training, separate training for this. So, and whatever commands you can understand, practice those. If you are feeling something difficult, leave it. Okay. ls is another popular command. ls is for list. Okay. ls is another popular Linux command. Can you type ls there? It will not show because, I think there will not be anything, right? That's why it is not showing anything. Suppose if you create some directories and then use ls, then it will show you the directories, list out the directories. mkdir. No, not mkdir for make directory. mk for make, dir for directory. -v space dir1. Enter. Right now it is showing a confirmation message saying that directory has been created, isn't it? Now mkdir -v give dir2, create some other directories. Yes, you can use up arrow, right?
Yeah.
Now it created another directory. Now if you use ls command, it will show you both the directory names, dir1 and dir2, right? That's it. So, these kind of basic knowledge is enough. Got it? And, those who are completely new to IT, so you can ignore it. You need not do it now. You can do it after the training is completed. Okay. Those who are completely new to IT or new to, this, all these Linux commands, concepts and all. So you can try it after the training, after completing JMeter training, because that is important. That is first priority. Okay. All right then. So, but those who are already into IT, so you can, start practicing these Linux commands. Okay. Thanks, Priyan. Stopping your screen share and sharing my screen. Right. And also some basic SQL knowledge is also desirable. Okay. So SQL commands, like you can learn some SQL commands that are also free of cost. So go to w3schools.com. Go to this w3schools.com, right? And you can go through these tutorials. Again, this is also very simple. All that is required is you should be passionate about learning. You should be interested to learn new things. That's it. Okay. But if you go through this, these are all self-learning tutorials. You need not join any training for this. What it is? So what is SQL? SQL is a standard language for storing, manipulating, retrieving data in the databases. right? And this is what is this command. This is a select. This is a select query. What does this queries does? And what is this customers? First of all, customers is a table. Okay, customers is a table. So you can click on start learning SQL now. There you will see all these basics. You'll see all these basics. You'll know what is RDBMS, what is table, and all those. What is a select query and all those. Guys, those who are not speaking, please mute yourself. Okay, right? So suppose if you want to try this command, right? Again, you need not. So suppose what is this query? Select star from customers. So customers is a table here. What does this query does? It will fetch all the records from customer table. Click on try it yourself, and you click on this run SQL, right? It got all the records from the customers table. Guys, those who are new to IT, nothing to worry. You can do it. You can learn this after completing JMeter training. JMeter is important. Our performance testing concepts are important first. Okay, and these are kind of deserts, right? So you can have it after the main course. Got it? All right. So, but all I want to say is now what is the advantage of learning this? These are added advantage for your CV, and you can not only added advantage. If you know some basic Linux commands and basic SQL commands, you can demand at least 1 to 2 lakhs more package than others. 1 to 2 lakhs more package than others. That is the value of this. Got it, guys? If you want to demand some extra package, additional package, learn this. Otherwise, just learn performance testing. That would be enough. Performance testing with JMeter or LoadRunner. Those are enough. Okay. Now, going back to that. So now the next, I'll take a pause here. Any queries, guys? If you have any queries, please feel free to stop me and ask. Get it clarified immediately.
Sir, one query, sir.
Yes.
What was that baseline testing, sir?
I'll explain that later. Baseline testing, we'll discuss that later. So
Okay, sir.
basically, if you want me to explain in one sentence, for every sprint, we'll take a baseline. So application development is a continuous process, right? We discussed that yesterday, isn't it? Application development is a continuous process, isn't it? Yes or no? We discussed about WhatsApp example yesterday. Every month or almost every month or every 15 days, you'll get some updates for WhatsApp, isn't it? So application development is for most of the applications, it is an ongoing process. It is a continuous process. Ongoing or continuous process. Okay. So now we know and this development, yesterday we discussed that, most of the projects are following sprint model, agile model, and wherein in agile model, we will have the project duration will be split into sprints, isn't it? So what is a sprint? We discussed that yesterday. What is a sprint? What is meant by a sprint? Or how many days is considered as one sprint?
2 weeks of time.
Right. We discussed that yesterday, isn't it? So 2 weeks duration is considered as one sprint. And in every sprint, some new features will be added. We discussed that also yesterday, isn't it? In every sprint, some new features will be added, isn't it? See, WhatsApp, just in the last couple of months, we got these many features. And we don't know, we got some more features also. Right? So in every sprint, we have to do a baseline testing. Means we will consider one test as a baseline. Okay, so that we can compare with the next sprint. We can compare the test results with the next sprint, right? So those who understood, take it. Otherwise, leave it, ignore it. We'll discuss that later. We'll discuss that, once we complete performance testing concepts, then we'll revisit this. Okay, but that is the meaning of a baseline. For every sprint, we consider one successful test as a baseline, so that we can compare with the next sprint. We can compare the next sprint results with we'll compare the current sprint. We'll always compare the current sprint test results with the previous sprint to identify if there is any improvement or degradation. That is the purpose. Is it clear about baseline?
Yes.
Right. Now let's move on to the next one. So what are the reasons, we are discussing what are the reasons for doing performance testing for a newly developed application, isn't it? So one more reason for doing performance testing is uncover what components of an application suffer poor performance and under what conditions. Okay. Uncover means to discover or to find out what components of an application suffer poor performance and under what conditions. Okay. Yesterday I have shown you three-tier application architecture. You remember that? Yesterday we discussed about three-tier application architecture, isn't it? Yesterday I told that any web application consists of web server, app server, DB server. Now, if there are some performance issues, it can be because of any of these components, right? Yes or no? If there are some performance issues in a website, it can be because of web server, or it can be because of app server, or it can be because of database server, or it can be because of load balancer. It can be a load balancer issue, or it can be a network issue also. There can be multiple reasons, right? To find out what is the reason, what exactly is the reason also, we do performance testing. Understood or no? To uncover what components means part. What is the meaning of a component, guys? A small part of something is called as a component, right? Yes.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
What is the meaning of a component? So a small part of something is called as a component, right? A part or element of a larger whole, especially a part of a machine or a vehicle, right? A small part of something is called as a component. Now, your web applications also will have different components like web server, app server, database server, load balancer, etc. Right? And now, if there are some performance issues, there can be multiple reasons. It can be because of load balancer issue, or it can be because of a web server, or because of app server, or because of database server. So to find out what exactly which component is causing the performance issue, we do performance testing. That is another scenario where we do performance testing. Okay. And now I'll give some example. Those who did not understand, I'll give some example. Right. So everyone might be having at least bike or a scooty, right? A two-wheeler, right? Everyone should be having a two-wheeler, right? Sir, no ways. And suppose you are getting very poor mileage on the two-wheeler. Let's assume you are getting very poor mileage or poor pickup from your two-wheeler. What might be the reason, guys? Will there be any single reason? What could be the reasons for this poor mileage or poor pickup? Guys, you have to answer this because you know this example, isn't it?
It can be due to engine's fault.
Okay. So it can be an issue with the engine. Okay. Yes. That's it.
Mm.
Is that the only reason? Is engine is the only reason? Any other reasons that you can you can remember?
Servicing issue, sir.
Right. Lack of servicing or maintenance, isn't it? Lack of servicing or maintenance. Next. This will be useful to you in your life also, right? In your day-to-day life also, isn't it? Lack of servicing or
Abstraction between moving parts.
what is it?
Abstraction, sir.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Sorry. What is that? Can you please repeat it or can you please type it in the Zoom chat? Go to Zoom chat, guys. Go to Zoom chat and see how you can send the response in Zoom chat. Please do that. Abstraction between the moving parts. Okay, more friction, right? That will be there anyways. That will be, that is common, right? Of course, if the service is good, there will be less friction. I'm expecting some few more things. Got it, Akla. Yes, that is correct. But but that comes because of lack of servicing or maintenance, isn't it? And suppose guys, if there is no proper tire pressure, yes or no? Improper tire pressure also it causes poor mileage or poor pickup, yes or no? You know that
Yes.
improper tire pressure. So this can be another reason, isn't it? Or your rash driving. If you are if the driving is driving habits or driving manners are not good, you'll get poor mileage at least, isn't it? Your driving habits, right? So there can be multiple reasons for poor pickup or poor mileage, isn't it? There will not be any single reason, isn't it? It can be because of engine issue or it can be because of carburetor issue, or it can be because of fuel issue, isn't it? It can be a fuel issue also. If the fuel is adulterated or it is not, don't know the driving. Okay. Okay. So it can be a fuel issue also. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
So there can be multiple reasons for poor pickup or poor mileage. So in the same way for software applications also, if you are having some performance issues, there can be multiple reasons. Okay. It can be, the issue can be at web server, or issue can be at load balancer, or issue can be at app server, or the issue can be at the database server. It can be a query issue, database issue. Okay. Maybe some queries are running slowly. There are some slow running queries, right? We'll discuss what is that, queries and all. We'll discuss that. I'll give a high level overview. So meanwhile, please start these, SQL basics. Okay. Start these SQL basics and try to understand as much as you can. Okay. Now, so to uncover or to find out what is the reason for the performance issues, we do this performance testing, right? For a new application, to uncover what components of an application suffer poor performance and under what conditions, right? And to find out any performance bottlenecks or performance issues. To find out if there are any performance issues also, we do performance testing. So these are the reasons, these are some of the reasons for doing performance testing for a newly developed application. There may be few more also, but these are the most popular reasons for doing performance testing for a newly developed application. Okay. So I'll take a pause here. Any queries? Yes, are you able to understand, able to follow or no?
Yes, Paul.
Everyone. So I want from everyone. So shall I go name by name? Akila?
Sir, what is performance bottleneck?
Okay, good question. What is bottleneck? Bottleneck means nothing but issue. I mentioned it here. Performance bottlenecks means nothing but performance issues. Suppose there is a 4-lane highway. Okay. There is a 4-lane highway and all the lanes are free. Then obviously the traffic movement will be faster, isn't it? Yes or no? Now suppose let's assume that in one of the lane there is an accident. Unfortunately, there was some accident happened in one of the lanes. Now all the lanes, it causes a bottleneck, right? So all the other lanes also will become slow. Agree with me?
Yes.
Right. So there is some blockage, or there is some something that is blocking in one lane, and it impacts all the side by lanes also. Agree, right? Agree, right? So everyone will stop there. If there is some accident, like everyone will stop there and then they will move. Yes or no? Then like all the vehicles will get stopped, will get slowed down there, isn't it? So that is a bottleneck there. So because of some blockage in one of the lane, there is some traffic. There will it causes some bottlenecks. So similarly, even in the software also, if any application, any of the component is not performing well, if any of these components is not performing well, for example, there are 3 web servers here. Now one of the web server is not working. There is some issue on this. Now all the traffic goes to the first 2 servers. Obviously, the load on the servers increase, isn't it? See, why do we have 3 web servers? Okay, I'll give some example for this. For example, you go to a DMart or a McDonald's, right? And assume that there are 5 counters. In DMart, you'll have minimum 5 counters, right? 5 to 10 counters, isn't it? So if all the cashiers are working faster, the wait time will be very less, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? Or
Yes.
suppose there are no network issues, for example, the computers are working fine and there are no issues, the billing will be faster. But what if like suddenly there is some network issue and the system is not responding? Obviously, the billing will become slow, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So that is one bottleneck. There is some performance issue there, right? If your system is not working, if one of the billing machine is not working, or if one of the billing counter cashier is very slow, right? If one of the cashier is very slow, what happens, guys? So that queue will be increasing, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Or else like when after the queue increases too much, right? What happens? People from the customers from that queue will move to the adjacent queues, right? So thereby it will increase load on the other cashiers also. If one or two cashiers are working slow, isn't it? So these are called as bottlenecks. What is the bottleneck here? There are some cashiers who are very slow, right? Or there are some computers which are very slow, right? So that impacts everyone, isn't it? So that is an example of a bottleneck. Okay. Any other queries before we close the session for today? All right. So if you don't have any queries, I'll stop it here for today. We'll continue tomorrow, guys. Okay. So today we discussed what are the goals of performance testing for a newly developed application, isn't it? For a newly built application or newly developed application. I saw some new joinees. Alam, who is this Alam? This is your first session, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please ping me on WhatsApp once?
Okay, sir.
Tushar, is this your first session today?
Yes, sir. This is my first session.
Okay. Tushar, I remember that, we had a chat before on WhatsApp. Okay. Other
Yeah.
Salam, so I don't remember that we had a connect on WhatsApp before. Can you please ping me on my WhatsApp number? This is my WhatsApp number. Can you please, you should be having my WhatsApp number, right? So can you please ping me on WhatsApp once? Let me pass recording, guys. Okay, guys, we'll stop it here and we'll continue tomorrow, guys. Okay. So let me pass recording first. Zoom meeting ID remains same, guys. Okay, we have the Zoom meeting. There will be no change in the Zoom meeting ID unless until it is specified. Okay, so we are using a licensed version of Zoom. That's why you might have seen, right? Free version allows only 40 minutes, but I am using licensed version of Zoom meeting, and the meeting ID remains same. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you,
Any
Pawan.
queries? Any queries before we close today's session?
Pawan, can we
So,
get
Pawan,
this PPT and okay, carry on.
Yeah, Monica.
Pawan, did you add the classroom session with email IDs?
Google Classroom. You mean to ask Google Classroom?
Yes, Pawan, where you are sharing all the daily videos and notes.
Okay. No, this is Google Classroom. I have added your Gmail ID, but you didn't accept it yet. Okay, please accept it. That is one thing. And I'll share the class notes document also to everyone. Those who confirm their joining. Okay, those who paid fees, please ping me for the class notes access and these recorded sessions as well.
Okay. Thank you, Pawan.
First, make sure that you are added to the Google Classroom so that I can see the Google Classroom members and I can give access, all those access.
Yeah, I will accept it now. Yeah.
Okay. Good night then.